We are extremely concerned with the quickly deteriorating food security situation in Yemen. As a matter of fact, as the conflict protracts, we are now entering the third year of conflict in Yemen, the food security continues to deteriorate. We have currently 14 million people severely food insecure, which is more than 50% of the population. If you look in terms of numbers, Yemen is the worst humanitarian crisis in the world, with more than, as I said, 14 million people severely food insecure, 7 million of them on the brink of food security catastrophe. But we have a situation where the people of Yemen have exhausted their capacities to cope. They cannot borrow money anymore. They cannot sell assets anymore because they don't have these assets. They are cutting on their health costs. They are cutting on their education costs. Actually, there is nothing left they could cut on. So it means that they are in a very severe situation, which has a tremendous impact on food security. Yet, in such a context, agriculture remains an activity that is ongoing and that needs to be supported. Unfortunately, what we see is that this is largely ignored by the international community, and this is not receiving enough assistance. Agriculture is the main source of livelihood actually for most of the population in Yemen today, and therefore needs to be supported. Indeed, as if conflict was not enough, Yemen is a country that is particularly affected by a wide variety of shocks that relate, of course, to drought, but also to desert locust infestation, even cyclones and floods, and animal health, and plant pest and disease. So really a wide variety of shocks the country is exposed to, and therefore it is absolutely critical, not only for the authorities, but also for the people themselves, to have a good understanding of what are these shocks and be able to monitor these shocks so that when they see them coming, when they see the risk about to materialize, they can take really early action to prevent it to turn into a big disaster that will further deteriorate the food security situation. That is absolutely critical. In the current context, FAO, including through this this new EU funding, supports the communities in Yemen, the communities that are affected by not only the conflict but the other shocks, with a variety of supports, ranging from the provision of agricultural inputs to support to livestock owners. Indeed, the livestock sector has been badly hit and needs support to maintain the animals alive and therefore help the farmers keep their assets. The support provided through this EU project in particular will help up to 150,000 people with that sort of assistance, and will even help us deal with a major issue in Yemen, which relates to water scarcity. By contributing to the establishment of water user group, and by contributing to the provision of irrigation equipment, as well as training in the better use of water resources, which is indeed very critical in Yemen. It's absolutely critical that the international community as a whole realize the criticality, the centrality of agriculture for the livelihood of people in Yemen, and I would say in conflict situation in general. I mean, while all the other sectors of the economy have a tendency to collapse as a result of conflict, the only remaining activity often relates to agriculture. This is the only one that is going to make a difference between people staying on their land or trying to move within the country or even across border. And this is also the only activity when they have lost everything that is going to make a difference between food security, food insecurity, and sometimes, unfortunately, famine.